So what do we got up first? Oh, we got Dr. Steve Turley back in the house. Wonder if he's
Yep.
related to the other guy, the Turley that's on
I'm
Fox
not sure,
News.
but let me do this so everybody can see what we're talking about. Because remember,
Oh,
you're
okay.
seeing it before they can see it. So now they can
Yeah,
see it too.
right.
Oh, I still have a pinned message up. Oh my God.
Oh,
Yeah, I'm doing great. So that was a very long hi, Jacob, from Blue Rose.
thank you, Blue. Jacob's happy.
Okay. I do believe this is the same Turley. Now, the this isn't I saw some videos. As much as he is highlighting this in a really good way, there are some street videos where there are people who are like the extreme right Americans who want all immigrants out, not thinking, and like what's going on in Mexico, where they're not thinking of the benefits of legal migration in Japan right now. There is
Hmm.
a they are starting there was one guy who came up to a white guy, started just laying into him, and the white guy responded in almost perfect Japanese.
Right.
His argument about why it's important to have him and his business here, and his business is helping their country. He's not harming it like the illegal ones are. He's paying
Hmm.
his taxes, he's paying his dues, he's providing jobs for people in this area. And so
Right.
again, I do like that they want to start focusing on, also building up their own people, but don't kick out the people who are willingly helping you build your people up as well, even just because this radical ideology bumped in.
Has taken hold. Right.
Yes, don't let the radicalists take hold, but find that balance. Don't be like Mexico and start rioting and throwing them out, which is where Japan was heading. But they were aiming it at all people who were never not born in Japan. So
Well,
this is where
I
the
could,
fine balance
yeah,
has to
hold
come
on.
in.
Yeah, but hold up a second. I could see where uh, I don't remember if it's in that particular video or not, but Japan population has declined so much so. Now, I'm not saying that it isn't appropriate, but I could see where they're saying, look, we need to sustain our own culture. Their young people can't, just like here in America, can't afford housing, aren't having children, aren't getting married. There's way more men than there are women because men are more highly valued. They're probably still throwing women off the cliffs. So there's still this also archaic kind of way of thinking about their.
Japan is not
Uh,
China. They do
no,
have
but
better standards than China
yeah, they
does.
do, but they still have that. If you watch, like I've watched a lot of Japanese thing. I'm crazy about housing and all that bull crap, which leads into other stuff. So I've seen they still have. I'd say they definitely have a better cultural perspective than we do. It's stronger than ours is, as far as country and, we believe in Japan. And how did you get in here? Hold on a second. I'm sorry. I let
I
you.
didn't
Oh,
get anywhere.
Jacob let him in. I'm like, the dog's looking at me. I'm like, how did he get in here? And so their culture, they're trying to protect and maintain what they have. And I can see where they don't want outsiders coming in. It's no different than what the Irish are going through, right? Ireland is
Well, no,
saying,
there's a difference. The white people in Japan are not trying to overthrow their culture with a new religion and tell them they can't do this, that, or the other. In
right?
Ireland, there is a massive cultural overthrow
Is
happening.
right, but still, it's some type of, whether it's legal or illegal, it's still people coming into your country that are not of your descent. They're
And
not Japanese.
but
So,
I don't have a problem with it as long as, again, people, they're not necessarily marrying Japanese women and taking them away from the men. Their culture
mm,
did that to themselves if there's a lack of women before
yeah,
anyone, like, put their 2 cents in. Okay, so
right.
again,
But remember,
so
that's what you and I think. That's not what they think. That's in their lies the problem, right? That's not. How do we tell them? Kind of like, you know, look at all these positives about this as the outsiders.
but again,
How,
It's like I
I
say
get
about everything. As long as
I
it's legal immigration and they are benefiting the society, I don't have a problem with it. I don't care where they're from. I don't care if they're
right,
from South America, even though no one really lives there. I'm
right,
using it as an exaggeration. They could be Santa Claus from the North Pole. I don't care.
right,
As long as they are behaving themselves and doing what they're supposed to, I'm not opposed to it.
right. But
It's just
again,
because they're here doesn't mean they're going to take away all of the whiteness of Japan, and they're going to take away all of Japan's culture because the 20, 30 people per city that are not Japanese, or 100 people in that entire city,
yeah,
are what, somehow going to rise up and take over the entire country? 100 people? I
no,
mean,
but slowly but surely things get eroded, don't they? Look at our country.
well, our country was founded on immigration. Everyone come as long as
Yeah,
you
but,
behave and do what you're supposed to. That
but
is the
where are we
American
at?
culture.
Right, right. But where are we at right now?
That was
That's
because people did not man the
exactly
border. That does
right.
not mean our idea of blending cultures to be a happy place to live and a safe place to live was a bad idea. One bad experience should not ruin the whole thing. We know that vaccines are good for you, most of them are. One bad reaction doesn't mean you should quit taking the rest.
So
I'm
you're
allergic to the
saying then
flu
that
vaccine, but I still take my pneumonia one.
yeah, so you're saying that one rotten apple in the bushel, that's okay. So that
No, you
throw
throw
that
that
one out.
one rotten apple out, check the
Oh,
rest around it to make sure they haven't
right.
molded, and then keep the good ones.
Keep the rest. Yep.
Why throw out
Well,
the whole bushel over one apple?
the other question I have is I'm interested in where the white guy was from and what type of business he had
I
and why
can't remember, and I wish I knew where to
yeah,
find that frickin' video. Now
yeah.
I should have saved
And
it.
and why was he in Japan versus if he was a US citizen, why couldn't it have been done in the
Um,
US?
I do know that even back in the 80s, Japan was scooping up automotive
Well,
engineers,
right, right.
and they were brought over left, right, and center. This may have been a very similar circumstance. He might be
Mhm.
there for a contract and is
Exactly.
helping with it, or he might have a business thing that in America as well as in Japan, and Japan asked him to come there with his business.
Right. Right. There's also many cultures that, if there are foreigners that are living and working there, you may be able to date, that particular culture, but many old schools will not permit you to marry.
No, they will
Uh,
not. You can date, but you
yep.
cannot marry in the
Mhm.
culture. I've heard of this.
Yep.
Even throughout Europe, there
Yep.
was a big, up until a few years ago actually, there was some issues with interracial marriaging and stuff from
Uh
even
huh.
like France and Italy. Some people in
Right.
those cultures will frown upon it. I'm not saying all of them, but it does
Right.
happen. And again,
Hmm.
I personally, oh, it's like, can we get past the stereotypes? Can we get past the stupidity? We are all human beings.
Right. But the
Anyone want to
problem
prove
is
me
that,
wrong?
right. And that's not the case. So that's part of, I think, I think as people grow and mature and the country moves forward, that you begin to see these changes. But the,
Mm-hmm.
old
Well,
school,
like
the
we've
old
even.
ways,
Oh, sorry. Go ahead and finish your thought, and then I
no,
just want to make
I
sure
was
I
just,
remember
yeah,
mine.
the old school, the old ways of doing things, the staying within the culture, marrying within the culture, practicing religion within the culture, they are all to stay. And I am surprised at how many young people in foreign countries, particularly in the Asian culture, I would say, kind of moved to that beat
Well, and I don't
compared to,
have a problem with people staying within their own culture and their own religions.
neither do
That's
I. Neither do
perfectly
I.
fine too.
Okay.
But
Yeah,
like
I
we've
mean, I think
talked
that's
many times before, this was bound to happen. It's just this artificial push for it is the
right.
problem.
Right. Like we figured, back when I was getting my master's in HR, and this was in the late '90s. The anticipation had been by 2050 that there would be a huge shift in the American culture, and that we would become predominantly Hispanic. That was just from legal migration. That had nothing to
Yeah.
do with illegal. That was legal migration. That the population was going to change to be right now. It's currently, well, it was white, black, and Hispanic. So it was
Yes.
going to flip to Hispanic, black, and white. So this whole notion of race and everything in the country now is anticipated to hit these benchmarks by 2030.
Yeah.
So in 5 years, it's moved by over 30
Well,
years
I mean,
because of the illegal push.
yeah. And see, like like if we look back at even my family from the 20s, 30s, 40s, look at the genetic mix-up I
Yeah,
got just
right,
from
right,
that people moving to America and
right,
people like from India immigrating into the Slavic regions of Europe, the Romani gypsies, for those who don't know
right,
it. Their movement into Europe has led to part of my existence.
right. Yep.
They've been ran out of almost every country they've ever stepped foot in. It's like, it sucks, but it happens. They move,
Mm-hmm.
they intermingle with the communities, and some stay married and stay there. Others marry someone who moves with them. It is just a collage of genetics,
Right.
and
And I
stuff.
think
And that was even
we all
before this massive push.
right. And I think we all are. I don't have an issue. I mean, I think one of the neatest things to see is in the children, right? So
Mm-hmm.
Jacob's best friend is African American. He doesn't see color. He sees him as his best friend. He doesn't come home and say, "Hey, my black friend, I want to go hang with them." Or I want to go
No,
hang.
he says, I want to go
We have
hang with this friend by their name. Yes.
right, and we have a large Indian from India population in our community, and he has Indian friends, and
Mm-hmm.
we don't see that. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? He doesn't see that. And what's going to be fascinating, I think, is to see at what age is this racial component going to hit these kids? What grade level?
If
Is
it
it going to
does,
hit fourth grade?
why does it
Yeah.
have to hit them? Why can't we prevent it from hitting?
Uh-huh. Yep.
See, we're just.
So
I hear that so many times. Is, oh, it's gonna happen. It's gonna stop it from
why
happening.
does
Like,
it have to happen? Right.
yeah, like if like I've
But
heard people complain about, oh, it's just a giant pissing contest or this, that, or the other. They're gonna sit there and harass us about this. I'm like, so walk away. You don't
right,
have to interact with it. Go find somebody
right,
from whatever race, doesn't matter, who is sane and willing to just treat you like a person,
a
and you will have a
person.
different opinion.
Yep. And
I'm
I mean,
telling you, I see this all the time.
I truly, fully expect that Jacob will bring home somebody of a different race. It's just factual.
That's half of my cousins. And
Yeah,
and what's funny about all my cousins who did it is they thought they were going to piss off their parents because they were so sure their parents were racist.
right. I mean,
That did not go as planned.
Growing up, back when I was growing up, you did not. We were not permitted to date with outside of our race. That was an absolute, oh no, you'd get your ass kicked for that. Both my children were brought up that wasn't a problem. Whatever he decides, whoever he wants to be with, that's fine. And I think that the kids should be allowed to, now be brought up that they don't see race. And I don't know why it's always got to be continually talked about. It's getting to be
I
old.
have the
Really
same
old.
complaint. But it's going to continue as long as politics can benefit from it.
Exactly. And that in there lies the rub. The politics benefits, our politicians benefit from using race against us.
Yes,
Instead
they do.
of us
And it's
coming together.
absolute
Yeah.
garbage.
Mm-hmm. And
It
instead of
is
coming together on
100%
that,
garbage. Why
yes,
would
it
they?
is.
And again, yeah, they're dividing us, but why are we taking the bait? Why are we letting them? We don't
Because
have
people
to let them.
I know, but people aren't doing the research, or people just aren't paying attention, I don't think, in general to it. All
I
they
think
hear
it's
is what they see on
stupid.
TV, I know, but all they see is what they hear on TV or, in the car or whatever, that it's a race thing. It's black against
Yeah, well,
white,
you know
it's
what? Shut
Hispanic,
off the damn radio and go talk to your neighbor.
right? But they don't.
I guarantee we have a little Mexican grocery store here in town. I could walk up in there and start shopping and not have a problem.
Right.
There's an Asian market in the city not too far from us. I could walk up in there and not have a problem. Why? I understand the cultures and I respect the cultures. I don't go into an Asian market yelling, screaming, and acting stupid because I respect that their culture is more quiet. They don't like a lot of loud noise from people. They prefer that people talk quietly as much as possible. My hearing does make it an issue, but I apologize for that if I need to. But no, we don't go in acting a fool. You don't do that.
I hope, right. And why is it that behavior can't be translated to the American culture to at least a reduced respect of, when you go into a Walmart. Yeah, exactly. I mean,
respect
but we could learn. Yeah, exactly. We could learn a lot from. It doesn't even mean learning. It means just being a damn decent person and the way you behave.
Do you remember when you used to get dressed up to go to the grocery store?
How about when you got on the bus to go to town, you wore gloves and a hat? I didn't do that. My mom did. But,
yes.
You weren't allowed to wear, girls weren't allowed to wear pants to school. They weren't allowed, and when they did, they weren't allowed to be blue jeans. I mean,
they had to be slacks.
I'm not saying bring everything back, but there should be a healthy respect of where you're at and what you're doing and what's going on.
A healthy respect for self and others, which is very strong in the Asian culture, by the way.
Right. Why don't you go ahead and read the chat while I eat some spaghetti?
B invades the safe spaces of other cultures. Yeah, well, I mean, if you want to take in my genetic pool, technically, I'm a little bit of most of these cultures. People can bite me. But no, I really, after working in medicine and going around a major city, going to patients' homes of different cultures, I learned a lot from them. And I asked them, because I knew some things. I'm like, out of respect, would you prefer I do this, that, or the other? And they're like, no, we're in America. You don't got to worry about it. But I'm like, yeah, but I still respect you. But they're like, yeah, but we're in America. We're not in this country, so nope, don't worry about it. But others were very still strict about it. And it depends on the person. And I will show respect all around. And that's like, if I know I'm going into someone's home, I'm not going to go in loud, yelling, talking on my phone, doing their blood pressure and acting a fool. I'm going to be respectful. I'm going to be polite. I'm going to make sure I don't track mud and grease into their home. I'm not going to leave garbage behind. Even if they tell me, oh, it's okay, just leave it. We'll throw it away for you. I'm like, nah, I got it. It's a biohazard thing. I got it. Even if it's their blood. And I know you're joking, Villa, but some people don't joke about that. Some people are very dead serious, is what my point is, of why you have to get to know each situation and smooth your way through it. I mean, this is again where we're sitting here talking. Well, we're supposed to be playing this video about Japan becoming Japan first. You can be Japan first and still have immigrants.
Mm-hmm.
I am all for it. Like we have America first, but we still allow immigrants. There's nothing wrong with finding a balance. That's my whole point of all this. Finding a way to live together, accept each other's cultures, learn each other's cultures, respect them, and take good from them.
Right. But I will say that if you are, no matter what country you're going to, right? If you're immigrating to a particular country, for example, you're coming to America, you have to acclimate to that country's culture.
Yes.
Not saying you get rid of your own, but
learn
you
theirs.
Have to. You're not, when protests go on, you're not throwing the Mexican or the France flag around. You should be throwing around the U.S. flag, right? Just like if I was in, if I was in Japan, you know, and I am an immigrant there and I've moved there, why am I throwing the United States flag around if I've become a Japanese citizen?
Yeah.
That's all I'm
And
saying.
again,
Once
it's
you
a
become a
respect thing.
citizen of that country, right, right.
Yes, it's a
You've
respect
pledged
thing.
allegiance, yeah, and you've
Sorry.
pledged allegiance to that country,
Yes.
right? You've taken the
Yes.
oath to that country.
Now, I know there are a lot of people with dual citizenship because they do
Yeah.
go back and forth between the countries a lot, and they're allowed to vote in both places, and they're allowed to have a say. But again, it's a tough balance when it comes to a war between the two countries.
Right. All
But
right.
let
Well,
me
hit
hit
play
play.
and let's
Yeah,
see
since luckily
what
it's only
happens.
11 minutes long. It's only 11 minutes.
Here's what happened over the weekend in Japan that should have
And I
every
can't
one of
hear
you
it.
absolutely.
Oh, you got to be kidding.
Nope.
Okay, you're gonna probably have to lose the chat for a minute. I'm sorry. While we're
That's
watching
okay.
this, I'm gonna switch it over to this part. All right, let's see if you can hear it now.
Fired up. This is amazing.
Got it?
The
Yes,
Japan
ma'am.
First
Yes,
Party,
ma'am.
Sanseito,
Okay.
just pulled off one of the most stunning electoral victories in modern political history. They went from holding just one seat to winning 15 seats in Japan's upper house, making them the third largest opposition party literally overnight. And here's what makes this truly remarkable. This wasn't backed by billionaire donors or establishment money. This was a grassroots YouTube movement. You heard that right, YouTube movement, led by a young, charismatic populist by the name of Sohei Kamiya, who's a former English teacher and supermarket manager who built his social media following during the pandemic by speaking truth to power. Sound familiar? Well, it should, because this is the exact same playbook that's working around the world. Now, take a look at what we're now hearing all over the nation of Japan.
インターネットで集まった人たちが日本の政治を変える、それをね、世界に見せるんですよ。日本人はまだやれるぞって示しましょうよ。参政党は一つのプラットフォームです。皆さんの思いを受け止めるプラットフォームです。私は皆さんの思いを受け止めて、ね、この80年間の戦後体制をひっくり返す、その代表です。そして我々みんなでね、グローバリズムと戦うんだ。
Now, if you're listening by way of our 20 million podcast downloads, he in effect just said that the people are rising up to forever change Japanese politics. We are going to show the world that the Japanese people are still capable of greatness. He said that the Sanseito Party is a party for everyone, for all Japanese people, and together we will destroy the 80-year-old post-war political system that's basically in paralysis in Japan, and together we will fight against and crush globalism once and for all. Again, sound familiar? Now, I doubt you'd be surprised that at the heart of Sanseito's platform is pushing back against the out-of-control immigration that's begun to ravage Japan of late. Immigration concerns played a very pivotal role as a whole in this election, ranking as one of the top most important issues for voters in the exit polls. The surge in foreign residents to a record near 4 million just this year alone, it represented 11% growth from just the previous year, has created significant public anxiety, especially given what Japanese are seeing happening in Europe, seeing those scenes of social unrest and riots that come from jumbling together people from frankly incompatible population groups.
And he needed to be a little more specific. He should not be just sugarcoating this. People from countries that absolutely do not care about the Japanese culture and are just looking to expand their culture elsewhere are the problem. People who are moving into Japan and refusing to acclimate to that culture are the problem. And he needs to not sugarcoat it so much.
I agree. I also think that a 11% increase That seems to be a high number.
That's higher than what I've heard. From what I was hearing from some people, is it wasn't really that high. I'm not sure.
That just seems like, yeah. I mean, I don't like that. It just seems like a large number for any country to kind of bring in as new immigrants. You know, if that's year over year, or I mean, it just seems like a large number of people.
But also remember, there is a large presence of American Navy and naval family members, but they're not allowed to go into the main country. They have to stay on base, basically. They are not allowed to leave the base. And I know people in the Navy besides my dad. My dad was not stationed in Japan, but I know people who were stationed in Japan. You don't get to leave the base very often and without good reason.
Yeah, my brother was in Germany, same thing. You didn't get to leave the base from Germany unless you had some type of permission. Yep. And I mean, that's a huge hit to get at for a country, for any country to bring in that many citizens, for them to become acclimated to the culture.
And look at the size of Japan compared to even America, where we had how much percent increase?
Yep.
Again, if those numbers are accurate, makes sense that they're a little bit nervous. But where are those numbers truly coming from?
Right. That, and he doesn't, and we don't know the breakdown of.
Yeah, we don't have that breakdown, like you said.
Yeah, so we don't know what countries that they're coming from. I do believe that there's a large portion of Americans that have gone over to some Asian countries. I do think that. I'm not sure if they're the number ones, though, but I'd be curious.
I am curious to know the breakdown. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Well, that's something. Look, no, we're good. We can try to find that.
Yeah.
And I was supposed to find out 2 things from yesterday that I remembered, and now I forgot. I need a notebook.
Whether Trump paid the celebrities, and I can't remember the other part. I don't remember the other one.
Yeah. Well, thank you for reminding me of that. Here, I'll write a note right now.
And while you're writing a note, I'm going to hit play so we can go in.
It's incompatible cultures. So the Sanseto Party, and Sanseto literally means something like "let's all get involved." It's basically a populist name. Let's all get involved in politics. Let's do it. Don't rely on the elites. Let's the people.
Anyone speak Japanese who can confirm that?
Once and for all, right? So the Sanseto Party really was the only party in this election that addressed those immigration concerns and offered a solution that they called Japanese First. They wanted Japanese First platform. They warned of a silent invasion of foreigners that would inevitably overturn social order. We're already seeing it with the rise in crime. And if you've ever been to Japan, you know crime pretty much is because of the immigrants coming in. And they are very concerned that Japanese culture is being threatened. And they're right. It is. So their anti-immigration rhetoric, combined with concerns about property purchases by wealthy Chinese investors and perceived preferential treatment for foreigners over Japanese citizens, so as to encourage more immigration, that resonated particularly with frustrated voters facing economic hardship. So you notice, again, we see these 3 themes coming back over and over again all around the world: concerns about border security, economic security, and cultural security. Border security, economic security, cultural security. They all add up.
And that's what every country should have. I know I'm trying not to pause it every minute, but every country should have economic, border, and what was the other one? Shit, he said it twice and I can't remember it now. But they should have those securities.
Yeah,
what's wrong with
that
having those?
Sense. Yeah, and that only makes sense, doesn't it? Oh,
I
no,
agree.
It doesn't. Yeah, I forgot. It doesn't make sense. That's why we're in the predicament we are. Okay.
I'm not saying we should have every country is blended to a mixing point that there is nothing left, but just, a balance. and quit trying to overtake somebody else's cultures. Like, y'all, just let them have their culture, understand it, respect it, partake in it. Many
I
will
mean,
let you.
even on a what I consider to be a stupid subject, but it isn't. It's a cultural. We get into cultural appropriation, and
Uh-huh.
I watched a whole series of a documentary, actually, believe it or not, about who had braids first. Like, white women should not be permitted to wear braids
Bullshit.
because they appropriated that from the black culture.
No.
Well, where'd the black culture
It's a
get it
Dutch
from?
braid. They use a Dutch braid.
No, well, from the Indian culture. Where'd the Indian culture get it from?
That's a different type
I
of
mean,
braiding. They don't do the
right,
the cornrow type braids. What was used a Dutch style braiding, and
right,
then there's French style braiding. But the
right.
basic plait, where it's the three twists around each other, is most
Mm-hmm,
common in Native America and parts of China and Asia.
mm-hmm.
So, who had it first? Who cares? You know what? We all learned to twist our
Right,
hair to make it look pretty. Bite me.
exactly, exactly. So you can't. So things are carried over. There were some uh, lawsuits filed against a group, a musical group, right? That said you appropriated, you took similar hand movements to another group. So one group was trying to sue the other group for dance movements of, similar style movements. And
So
it
the
went all the way up
choreography was
to their,
similar.
correct, similar. So it went all the way up to their to their Supreme Court, okay? And
Okay.
their Supreme Court came back and said, you know what? The human hand can only move in so many ways. You know what I mean? Let's just say it moved from left to right and up and down. Let's say they were the four positions that it could move.
Yeah.
There was nothing that everybody in the world could not make those four movements any different. Now, if they went and took your entire program and copied it, that was one thing. But because they had like a 3-second hand movement that looked like yours, did not mean they appropriated or stole what your particular
Yep.
culture had, your particular group had.
Yep.
We're all doing and moving in the same direction. We're all
Yes.
copying, we're all emulating, we're all seeing something that somebody else did and said, oh, you know what? I like what that culture did. I'm going to take that and use it in my home or on myself, or I want to dress that way or look that way.
Yeah. I mean,
Or
there's only so
perhaps,
many ways to style fabric. There's only so many ways.
exactly,
And the Bible itself will states nothing on under the sky, under the stars is new.
mm-hmm.
It's all been done before. It's all been seen before. It's not actually new. We are just
Yeah,
modifying something from before or slightly altering something from before. Language is not new.
mm-hmm.
Writing, not new. Nothing's been new for over a millennia.
Right.
So people, quit with the nitpicking. You're not that
Right.
special. None of us are that special. Get over it. Like, sorry,
All right, and
existential
here,
dread for y'all. My bad.
go ahead, hit play.
Yeah, I totally took that one dark.
Ultimately to one thing, a worldwide populist revolt that's changing planetary politics like never before. What's happening in Japan is part of an overall worldwide awakening, a populist uprising of ordinary citizens demanding their countries back. And they're changing politics really like never before. Let me show you exactly how this nationalist populist wave is reshaping the world. In many respects, even before Trump and the MAGA movement, It was actually Hungarian Prime Minister Viktor Orban who got this worldwide revolution started. He didn't just win elections, he transformed his entire nation. Since 2010, Hungary's become the gold standard for pushing back against globalist policies of open borders and woke progressive values. Orban has heralded a Christian civilization renaissance centered on reversing the European demographic decline by putting Hungarian families first. Hungarian women who have 4 or more children receive full income tax exemption for life. University graduates get their student loans forgiven if they have children within 2 years of graduation. The government provides low-interest mortgages for families and subsidies for 7-seat cars for families with 3 children or more. And it's working. Hungary has seen a significant reversal in its demographic decline, and it promises to only be the beginning. Now, Hungary has been joined of late by the nation of Italy. In 2018, Giorgia Meloni's Brothers of Italy party received just 4.3% of the vote. 4 years later, they stormed the Italian parliament, winning the most of any party, and Meloni became Italy's first female prime minister. How? By positioning herself as the only major party leader opposing the globalist Mario Draghi government, which Italians saw as the ultimate expression of the power held by the world's financial elites over Italy. Now, Meloni's platform wasn't complicated. Protect Italian families, defend traditional values, and put Italy first. But if you want to see what real populist economic policy looks like, look at Javier Milei in Argentina. When he took office in December 2023, Argentina faced an unprecedented 211% hyperinflation, 45% poverty, and near economic collapse. The establishment said his anarcho-capitalist policies would destroy the country, but instead, Milei delivered the impossible. He eliminated ministries from 24 to 8. He fired tens of thousands of government workers. He was Doge before Doge, and he slashed government spending. Monthly inflation plummeted from over 20% to manageable levels. Argentina achieved its first fiscal surplus in 16 years. By 2025, the economy is growing at 7.6% annually, the strongest growth in 2 decades. Milei's secret weapon? He demolished the regulatory state. He eliminated rent control laws, causing rental housing supply in Buenos Aires to jump 195% within 10 months. He lifted currency controls that had strangled the economy for over a decade, and he proved that when you unleash free markets and cut government, prosperity ultimately follows.
He's not wrong. And this has been a thing that we've been screaming about in America forever. Quit restricting the markets, quit restricting the people, and it will grow. Like that, what's that movie, Field of Dreams? If you build it, they will come.
Well, I think that's been Trump's message since his first administration. Yeah. And, you know, unfortunately, that's what the majority doesn't want to hear. And not only is it definitely not on the left, but you have to face it, it's also not on the right. Because the right, for all of their vitriol, they're just as bad, right?
Yeah,
they
it's
just
people in the middle who are trying to pull this off.
Right. You know, we have the rhino. We call them the rhinos, but I think it's more than just the rhinos. I think it is the, you know, what, you know, there's, for me, the rhinos are those blatant ones that are out there, right?
They're the Democrats in disguise.
You know, like the Lindsey Grahams and those people, the obvious ones. But then we got those underliers, which I think are just the, I'll keep my head down and not be too out there, but yet, you know, I'm still going to benefit from, you know, this bullshit with the stock market and write books and tour and, you know, screw my people over in my district and, not look out for them.
Yep.
I think we still have that on the right as well, and that needs to be called out.
It does.
And that's why I don't think why we're seeing as much of a shift as we would possibly like.
But
And with Trump in the second term, though, I think the shakeup's more, right? But the resistance is a whole lot more too, don't you think?
yes, but there is still hope. There's that YouTuber Brandon Herrera, who I've been following for years because of his gun content.
Right.
But he ran for House of Representative in Texas, and his first go against a incumbent politician with the whole business, with the whole force of their party behind them, he only lost by 100 points, by 100 votes.
Right.
And he's been outspoken against the ATF, all the gun laws, all the BS that's going on, the First Amendment restrictions. He gives me hope. We just need more of him. We need more.
And and I think, and for me, that I love that, right? But it's still frustrating that you're fighting against that machine. I recognize there's always got to be the winner and the loser, but still, to come that close.
He's running again this 2026. 2026. He's running. Yeah, he's like, he just put out a video. Yeah, you know what? I'm running again, basically, and just said, he broke it down. I only lost by 100 votes. That's so rare. And he has so many people out there. His name's out there. Let's go with it.
Right. And that happened to Dan Bongino. He runs several times in Florida and lost. Yeah. And for, what reason? I mean, I give him credit that he went back out there again.
Yeah.
Because I'm disheartening. It takes a lot of work. And my question had always been, where do you get the money? So as an average person, if I was to send anybody in the chat, or me or you, how do you even get started? Where do you even get the money? Where do you get the backing? You know how much time and effort that takes to...
Well, the one thing that Brandon Herrera has on his side is, one, he's a very popular YouTuber, and he runs a gun manufacturing factory.
Okay.
So he's got some money, and the donations that people send to him, he never personally touches. It never personally goes to any of his accounts. It goes to a specific account for his campaign. Somebody else moves it there, not him. Right. He's made it very transparent, very clear. Whether it's 50 cents or $500, he's not going to touch it personally. He will put in his own contributions. I think he did a $100,000 contribution to his own campaign to match what other people put in. He's turning it into this is us together, and I'm putting my money where my mouth is, like Trump did. And he's not as rich as Trump, but he's got enough money and enough support across the board, with the exception of the Republican Party, because the guy he's going against is a Republican, if I remember correctly. And I got to give him props.
Democrat pretending to be a Republican.
Okay. Well, let's get through these last 3 minutes, since he just totally derailed it. But yeah, we have hope in the future if we can get more people that are younger with their heads on straight.
Right.
Alrighty, let's hit play.
And we could go on and on and on. The rise of the Austrian Freedom Party that won their first election just months ago. AfD in Germany, that's now the #1 most popular party in the entire nation. Geert Wilders and the Dutch Freedom Party, again the most popular party in the Netherlands. Jimmy Åkesson and the Sweden Democrats were in a coalition with the moderate right-wing party there. Marine Le Pen and National Rally, who are also consistently polling as by far the #1 most popular party in France. Vox in Spain, Chega in Portugal, and of course the Reform Party in the UK, who are poised to completely overturn UK politics in the next election by beating both labor, and the Tories. Now, here's what connects
So I have a
all of these
question,
movements.
Crazy
Let
They're
me
D.
all
pause this.
following in their own way the Trump playbook.
Yes.
So, okay.
So,
Go ahead.
so my question is, we have all of these countries taking on this populist movement, right? These countries to maintain their history, their culture, etc. Where are all these people coming from? Is there one country? Is it?
No,
Are
it's
they all
all these
coming?
countries are getting a populist movement running from their own citizens who live there.
Right, but I'm saying, where are the right? It's the globalists, but from the immigration standpoint, do we know what countries these people are coming from? Is it the Middle East that is hitting, like Ireland, Spain, Germany, the UK in general? I mean, where is the
Actually, there's a
move?
whole bunch of countries that are spreading out everywhere. People fleeing Russia, people fleeing China, people fleeing North Korea, people fleeing
Okay,
the Middle
hold on.
East.
We know that China and North Korea got to be relatively small, right? They're not escaping that on that major of a level. Where is mass immigration coming from? Either legal or illegal. Do we know?
Well, I mean, you're seeing the cartels pushing out into Asia and parts of
Right.
Europe.
Okay.
You see the Middle East pushing out into Europe, Asia, and the Americas. People from parts of India who are probably not
Right.
liked in the region and are fleeing religious persecution, because that does still happen in parts of India.
Right.
They are fleeing and going to different countries, which is why we've seen an influx in America.
Right. And that's where we're getting from our northern border.
Canada
we're
gets a lot
yeah,
of India.
we're getting from India, Asia, China. They're coming in that way. They're coming over from Europe via boat, which blows my mind. Well, I guess it's really no different than coming through the desert and through, South America up to us and walking on foot. But
Well,
to
jungle,
actually,
then tropics, then desert, then
right,
America. Yeah.
to actually purchase, passage on a ship, to get to America, well, to get to Canada, and then try to get to America is just, that kind of boggles my mind.
Well, Canada has more relaxed immigration policies than we have here in America.
And that was one of the things that Trump said that would be changing. That he wanted stronger borders because they basically weren't, monitoring what was going on, just like Mexico wasn't. But yeah, that's where we're getting most of our that population coming in from foreigners that way, then via the southern border. I recall looking at some migration maps, and I couldn't remember, are they coming from the Middle East? Are they spreading out into all these countries?
Well, that's why I say it's actually not just the Middle East. There is a whole bunch of regions that are having these mass flights, but nobody wants to talk about anywhere else. They only want to talk about the Middle East or South America. They're not talking about parts of Africa. They're not talking about parts of all these other countries.
Right.
So,
and I don't know why. Yeah.
It sucks.
Right. And obviously it's wherever these people are going, it's affecting, particular regions, like how, like we're receiving a large portion of the Somalian refugees, either legal or illegal. And, are they going to any other parts of the world other than coming to the U.S.? That's just shit that goes through my head. Are they showing up in Italy, perhaps?
Oh,
I doubt it very
much. There's people from China showing up there. There's people from, a lot of people from China and Japan and a few other places have immigrated to Australia and New Zealand.
Yes, yeah. And you heard him say that Australia is starting to put the foot down on their
Australia
immigration as
closed
well.
their borders in the early 2000s and are about to
Yeah,
have to do it again.
exactly. And so it's interesting that all these countries want to make these block meaning you're not permitted entry into our country. They don't want to accept any
Um,
foreigners. And so we've talked about how, if these other countries are going to have this mass migration from their, leaving their own country, what is so messed up that why can't their own country be fixed is the issue.
You have a
And
message. D, take
I
your
know
meds if you haven't.
I am right now. Thank you.
Um,
They're in my right now. I'm doing it now. Thank you. Um,
you got your backup alarm clock.
my backup alarm clock. Yep. They, we've talked about this repeatedly about, we've sunk millions and billions of dollars into aid and trying to assist other countries get their act together, but it's not occurring, and so their citizens are still continuing to flee to get out of the country.
Yeah,
Because why? Hell's either taking it or, their government's absconded with it. I mean, I don't know how to counteract that, if it could be done at
it's
all.
tough.
Do you just stop giving them money altogether?
That's what I don't know. And begin, if we stop giving money, China's going to step in.
Right?
And China's already moving into parts of Africa and trying to educate and recruit people of Africa for jobs.
Yep,
America's about to get screwed.
big time. I mean, they already tried building the island off of what? Was that Venezuela? That they tried building they were working on building 2 islands.
Was
They
it
came in
Venezuela
with
or was it Panama? Because I know they were running Panama Canal basically.
yeah, it was some.
I know Mexico. They got their hooks in Mexico too right now.
Yep. So, they're playing. China's played the long game. And they're slowly but surely creeping in. I mean, look at what they've done to the United States as far as, we were bitching they bought up farmland. That was first. Then we bitched about they were buying land around the bases, and nothing was done. Now it's that they're buying homes that cost $500,000 and up as residential homes.
Yeah.
And why? In addition, don't forget, there's the secret, although not so secret, Chinese police stations within the United States that handles issues regarding Chinese citizens.
Yeah.
So that's how is all that permitted in a country? I don't get that either.
And this is
Why?
again where a lot of this happened under Obama.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't realize this was back in his era when they started moving in.
Mm-hmm. Well, we're in a pickle.
Yes, we are. Let's get
All
through the
right.
last 3 minutes, and then there's we could probably squeeze in one article.
Okay.
Kamiya explicitly models his bold political style on President Trump. Like Trump, he built his following through social media. He bypassed the Japanese mainstream media, which are notoriously liberal. I've seen it firsthand. I mean, if you listen to NHK, which is their version of the BBC, if you listen to the NHK talk about American politics, it sounds like it's coming straight from Rachel Maddow and MSNBC. So Sohei bypassed the Japanese media and spoke directly to the Japanese people, particularly the forgotten working class people. And so the parallels are undeniable. America first became Japan first. Build the wall became control immigration. Drain the swamp became eliminate bureaucracy. Make America great again became make insert whatever country great again, right? Trump's MAGA movement has evolved beyond anyone's expectations. What happened in Japan over the weekend proves this movement is unstoppable. When a YouTube channel built by an ordinary citizen can challenge decades of political establishment control, the old rules no longer apply. When nationalist populists win from Argentina to Italy to Hungary to Japan, we're not talking about coincidence. We're talking about a global awakening.
And that's something I've been saying. We're looking at a global-wide religious, social, and government upheaval. This is the fall of Rome on steroids.